Well, hello there. Welcome to the first video in my Microphone Buyer's Guide series of videos. Today we're looking at how to choose the right large diaphragm condenser microphone for you. It's 777% nerdy stuff and it's coming right up. So, good day and welcome to the Time Preservation Society. I'm Rick Deckard. Blade Runner. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you can be notified of new content right when it drops. Cheers. A while back, I made a video called How to Choose the Right Microphone, a mic guide. It's all about the different types of microphones and their uses. You can watch that one right over there. In this particular video, the one you're watching right now, we're going to mainly stick to cardioid polar patterns. But many of the mics that I mentioned here in this video have, multiple polar patterns like cardioid, supercardioid, omni, figure eight, etc. So I'll try to help you make the right large diaphragm condenser mic choice in this video. It's a tall order. It's a big thing to do. But since some of this is subjective, this video is my opinion only. Yours may differ. Other audio professionals may disagree with me. Always remember, I'm just some guy. He's just some guy. Assuming you have a treated room, or at least a room that's not reverberant, and it's assuming you have external noises and sounds under control, and assuming you have an audio interface or a recorder with phantom power, and assuming you are absolutely sure that a large diaphragm condenser microphone is the right mic for you, then congratulations. A large diaphragm condenser mic is the right mic for you. But which one to get? The choices are insane. The marketing is thick, slick, and possibly a trick. Your buddy says Rode makes the best mics. They don't. Your other buddy says, no. Fine. They make the best mics. Also no. And the professional YouTube personality says you should only buy $4,000 Neumann mics, since they are the best. Again, no. The best mic is the mic that is the best one for you, or at least the best one for the source that you're miking. Sometimes that means having several large diaphragm condensers in your toolbox. You've probably heard the term mic locker. This is a collection of various microphones, each with their own respective strengths and weaknesses. What sounds good on a male singer may sound less good on a female singer. Or what sounds good on a male singer sounds less good on another male singer, etc. But we're talking about audio professionals who make their livings recording people. Having a toolbox with all the tools makes their jobs easier and faster, less work in post. What if you're just looking for one good microphone? Just one good jack-of-all-trades, all-purpose microphone. From a professional audio person's perspective, there really isn't one, as is. But, this is pure cork sniffery. You can make a lot of mics work for whatever the source with just a little EQ. As long as the mic can take EQ well, because a lot of them don't. In the days of old, there used to be a lot of cheap and bad-sounding mics. There still are, but there used to be too. Thanks, Mitch Hedberg. A lot of large diaphragm condenser mics just sound bad and don't take EQ well. Take, for example, the Rode NT1A. That's the worst mic ever made by the darkest forces of mankind. I mean, that mic should be shot in the face by a firing squad and then burned at the stake after first being hanged by an XLR cable in front of the whole town while parents force their children to not look away. The Rode NT1A is an abomination, the likes of which has never been seen before or since. It is my arch enemy, my nemesis, the antagonist of my story, the villain of my tale, the bad guy of my channel. Whatever, you get the point. I dislike the mic. But why? Why do I dislike it? It's because it sounds bad. And to some people who are new to audio with untrained ears, When they hear that mic on its own, those people may think it sounds great, really crisp. But that high end isn't crisp. It's bad distortion masquerading as crispness. It's harsh. When you try to EQ that mic, it falls apart. It's like doing deep color edits on a JPEG photo, or trying to bring down blown out highlights or bring up shadows with 8-bit video. It falls apart. You need a raw photo to work with, or raw or B-raw or, log footage for video to work with that. So it's the same with mics. Some mics just have their awful sound baked right into them, and you can't remove it. And with the NT1A, that bad distortion and sibilance and harshness is hard to work with, especially in a music mix. But to untrained ears, when they hear the NT1A by itself outside of a mix, they hear excitement and think, this mic's great, and a good price too. I think Rode knows this, and they kind of play to it. They're marketing to newbies. Maybe I'm being unfair to Rode. They do make some good mics. Not many, but they make some. The Rode NT1, at least the first to the fourth generation that I've played with, is a much more malleable microphone with EQ. You can play with it a bit. It's flatter. It's not flat, but it's flatter. It's less harsh. So, that's a pretty okay mic. They also make the NTG3 shotgun mic, and that's a really cool mic. It has its own sound, really low end, but a really, really cool sound. A good mic. But I should say the NT1A is actually incredibly quiet. It has virtually no self-noise, so there's that. But don't be fooled by noise. For most applications, under 15 dBA or 13 is just fine. So all this NT1A hate probably has your head spinning. So then which one should you buy, right? Good large diaphragm condenser mics aren't cheap by human standards. None of them are, including the cheap ones. So if you're new to audio, some of the prices I'll quote here might seem scary, but I assure you they are. A lot goes into crafting a great mic, from R&D to components to building and assembling them, and then tolerances, and then marketing. Some companies spend more money on marketing than they do on the rest of the mic. They're what I call boardroom mics, or boardroom gear. It's like, how can we sell a lot of these hunks of That's easy. We market the snot out of it so that everyone's best friend's cousin's dog has heard of it. 60% of the time, it works every time. Beware of boardroom mics. So, how to decide which are junk and which are not? The first thing I would say is try to avoid artificially hyped, harsh, brittle, and distorted top ends. Mics like the Lewitt 440 Pure or the AKG 214. Those are other mics that have that kind of artificially hyped, harshish top ends. But that 5K boost sounds super shiny to noobs. The Neumann TLM 103 is also a very toppy mic, but the highs are not distorted, and it's far less harsh. It's just incredibly sibilant and ultra crispy. Again, very attractive to people who haven't trained their ears. But at least the TLM 103 can be EQ'd. It's not bad distortion. It's not baked in. You can't remove that distortion. And if you can't hear it right away and you're new to this, give it some time, play with mics, work with them a lot, and then you start hearing all those things you couldn't hear when you were new. So it'll come. Even me, when I first started, people were like, "Oh, listen to that! Listen to the difference." And I'd say, "What the hell? They sound the same. What are you hearing?" And then as you train your ears, you start to hear it all. Some distortion is good, and some distortion is bad. Harmonic distortions that we sometimes call saturation can be very good, but we will get into that soon. The first thing you might do after talking or singing into a TLM 103 is grab a de-esser, because those S's can be piercing. So looking for flat, natural-sounding mics is a good starting point for an all-rounder, something that can be used on anything. But sometimes natural-sounding isn't what you're after. The Neumann U87 is probably the most famous microphone in the world. It's not flat. It's actually very mid-forward sounding, like the low mids. It has its own sound. It has a little pleasing harmonic distortion, saturation to it, not natural. It's also like $4,000, like I said. The U87 is industry standard in voiceover and voice acting and recording vocals and many instruments. You see it everywhere. Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, so Disney. Disney uses the U87 a lot. The U87 has all the Disfinity stones. But the U87 is also found in other recording studios all over the world for music, film, animations, voiceover, etc. It's the industry standard mic. But what does industry standard really mean? It just means it was adopted a long time ago by professionals because it's a fantastic sounding mic on many sources. It became familiar, and then thousands of students were trained on them. Many professionals are used to working with them. Billions and billions of people are used to hearing them. Everyone sees them repeatedly in studio photos. It probably could have been any good mic, but it was the U87. That's how it goes. That's not to say that the U87 is a bad mic. It's an incredibly good mic, mind-blowing even. But so is the Telefunken ELAM or ELAM 251 and the AKG 414 BULS. And so many other more expensive and cheaper microphones. They all sound good. Could have been anyone. Hell, when the U87i became the standard sometime after 1967, it was found in studios everywhere. But that mic is no longer made and has been replaced with the U87AI, which is a different sounding mic altogether. Yet, it's still purchased regularly around the world, and it's not even the same microphone that became the standard to begin with. Similar, but different. The AI version is brighter. So yeah, industry standard. Human people are fascinating creatures, with all their groupthink and their powerful desire to assimilate and fit in. Pro Tools, for example, is industry standard for a recording or mixing DAW and editing and stuff. Is it the best? Not at all. But it's what the schools are training on. It's what everyone is used to. It was the first amazing DAW. These days it's clunky and unnecessarily expensive. And you got to pay like a fee, a monthly fee and stuff. It's not bad. It's just not the objective best. It's hard to change industry standards. So, do you need a Neumann U87? No, you don't. Are there mics that are as good? There are plenty. So what are some good and relatively flat-sounding mics that take EQ well and would be a great all-arounder mic to own forever? Some of the following mics will be expensive, and some of them will be even more expensive. Stay tuned for cheaper ones, because I do say a few cheaper ones. One of my favorites is the SE Electronics SE4400. This mic is insanely good. It sounds good on anything I've used it on. It's smooth and rounded, but it has a nice edge to it that is very appealing to listen to. It doesn't need much EQ, but it takes it extremely well when needed. It's small, and it's cute, and it works, and it fits, and it's great. It's actually in my top 5 greatest affordable mics of all time list. The SE4400 is about $500 USD. I actually reviewed it right here. I was really impressed. Even wrote a nice song for it. That's what I would call a well-rounded microphone. It's small, tough, has cardioid, hypercardioid, and omnipolar patterns, and a load of other great options. And it's not crazy expensive by microphone standards, but still expensive by normal human standards. Another great mic that sounds good and is well-rounded is the AKG C414 XLS. It's got omni, wide cardioid, hypercardioid, figure 8, and 4 intermediate pickup patterns. And that mic goes for around $1,300 US when not on sale. Yeah. So it's not cheap, but it's been around a while, and you will never go wrong with one of these. The C414 XL2 version is much more top-end hyped than the XLS. Less smooth, same price. If you really want a fantastic all-rounder, try to find a used AKG C414 BULS, which you can find for around $1,600 USD if you can find one. This mic was made when AKG was still AKG and not Samsung. Another great company, speaking of AKG, with great mics is Austrian Audio, who happen to be the brilliant AKG engineers who were fired from AKG when Samsung took over and cheapened up the joint. Great Austrian Audio large diaphragm condenser mics are the OC818, the OC18, or even the OC16. Each use the same capsule, but have reduced polar pattern options to lower the numerical value. You can get the OC16 for about $400. The OC18 goes for around $800, and the OC818 is about $1,249. Still cheaper and better than the AKG C414. Mics with character or color are also great choices if that's what you're after. Character mics like the U87 like we talked about. Character or color really means its own sound, not a natural, transparent sound, not clinical, the opposite. This could mean pleasing harmonic saturation due to nice transformers inside, or it could mean particularly boosted, pleasing frequencies. One common component in some mics with a lot of character is a good transformer. Transformers sometimes add wonderful grit and smooth tops and bottoms. They add pleasing harmonic distortions that can help your sound stand out in the mix, stand out. They sometimes even sound 3D, if you know what that means. Another colorful component is vacuum tubes. Tube mics have their own tube character. Almost all tube mics have a transformer in them. The Allrounder Audio LA320, this is a vacuum tube microphone that has a transformer in there. And it has such a warmth that it has to be heard to be believed. It's got great character, lots of color, pleasing harmonic distortions, hefty bottom end. I reviewed that microphone a while back, and you can watch that here. I've talked about it a few times because for its price, it's mind-blowingly good. So the Allrounder Audio LA320 is around $600 to purchase. Another great mic with its own sound is, once again, Allrounder Audio. It's the FG387 Atlantis. This is an expensive microphone, but it sounds incredible and would be one of those mics you would be so very proud of, and you would take care of it better than you would take care of a human baby. At least, I hope you would treat it better than a human baby. It's not a tube mic, but it does have a nice transformer in there. It's also got cardioid, omni, and figure 8 polar pattern options. The Atlantis costs around $1,800 USD. Not cheap. So here's a mic that is both flat and has character, but it doesn't have a transformer or tube in there. It's a modeling mic, the Universal Audio DLX Sphere mic. It used to be called the Townsend Labs L22 Sphere. That's the one I have. As far as modeling mics go, there are no equals to it in my opinion. It's just brilliant. And when I say modeling mic, I mean with software, the mic will emulate all the famous important mics, both modern and historical mics. But even without the software, it's an incredible mic on its own. It sounds so good. It's just a great mic. It has its own character without emulations, or it will take on the characterizations of dozens of famous microphones. It's also very expensive. It's $1,500. You can watch my full review of the DLX here. Or you could just go buy the Neumann U87AI for $4,000, own an industry standard mic, and call it a day. But what about other options? The Shure KSM32 at $600. The SE Electronics T2 at $500. The SE Electronics T1, which just doesn't have the other polar patterns on that mic, same mic though, at $349. It's a good price. The SE Electronics SE4100, once again, it's this microphone, but without all the bells and whistles, same capsules, same everything else, at $349. Another mic is the Audio-Technica AT4050 at $700. Stam Audio SA87i at $790, which is said to be a great reproduction or a copycat of the vintage U87i. Another one is the A cheap one is the AKG P420 or P220 with a circuit modification. And that's like $196 when it's not on sale, but it's currently on sale. It's like $30, $140 for the mic. But you do a little mod, watch that video right there, and you can make it sound really good. Another really super cheap microphone that actually sounds really good as is the Bifaily, I hate to say it, Bifaily C414 25mm one at between $50 to $100, depending on the day and the weather patterns and the wind conditions and the lunar phase. Another great microphone is Advanced Audio CM87SE at $465. A lot of people who can get their hands on that microphone really love it, and I got to try it a little while back. I wish I had it on this channel. I'm looking to get one to try it here. So those are some good mics that I've tried or at least played with, and they were good. Okay, so next, here's a list of some mics that I've never personally worked with, but many others do love. People that I trust. The Audio-Technica AT2020, which was famously used by Billie Eilish on Ocean Eyes. Soyuz 1973 comes highly recommended. That's $799, by the way, the Soyuz. The Aston Origin is constantly recommended by a lot of people that I trust at $200. I've never tried it myself, but this is what people say. So yeah, what did we learn? Come to think of it, not much. I just name dropped and drop kicked names. Allow me to sum up and offer some good advice. Give you some quality for your time. Try to avoid microphones that have massive marketing budgets and a cheap price tag. Those mics tend to be super brittle ones and that appeal mostly to noobs. Finding smaller companies that hand make their mics will usually pay off in the long run. Companies like Lauten Audio, Stam Audio, Advanced Audio, Austrian Audio, just basically all the audios they're all good bets. Finding larger companies, but with great histories and well-established names works too, like SE Electronics, Neumann, Soyuz, Shure, Telefunken. Okay, so who should you listen to and who should you take advice from when you're unsure? Well, I can tell you who not to listen to. YouTube reviewers who are video people or camera people or streamer people. You know, basically those who treat audio like it's no big thing, like a secondary easy subject. People whose channels are loaded with drone reviews and action camera reviews and how to get the perfect lighting videos and then the occasional mic recommendation. I can't count the times I received a product to review, and then after I'm done experimenting with it, I check to see what other YouTubers say about it. And let me tell you, there's a lot of absolute garbage out there. Just watch for people who don't actually know about audio giving you advice about audio. That's not to say that those reviewers don't know their own craft very well, but it's like a heart surgeon advising you about quantum mechanics. Sure, some of those heart surgeons have great ideas, but quantum mechanics isn't really their bag. And some YouTube review videos are not real. I once reviewed an audio plugin that was really bad. Yet my social media feed was full of all these videos and ads by people I've never seen who were far too excited about this desert island plugin. Were they paid to say that? Are they new to audio? Did they get their YouTube license from a Cracker Jack box? I have never been paid so far to say anything. I've never even been offered. If I was offered money, would I take it? You're damn right I would. But I'd let you know that you're watching a commercial. I'm not evil, just poor. I spend all my money on microphones. Good, experienced, honest reviewers on YouTube are out there. People like Julian Krause, Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, the microphone assassin, or Curtis Judd, or Bandrew Scott from Podcastage. All honest and knowledgeable audio reviewers who take what they do seriously. They know what they're talking about. Sure, we all might disagree on what we think is fantastic or what we think is the best, but at that level, it's all subjective anyway, and it's kind of fun that we disagree. Another thing to take note of is just because a mic sells a lot does not mean it's a good microphone. So looking at bestsellers on Sweetwater won't tell you the best bang for your buck. It won't tell you the best mic. That's not how you choose the best mic. It just tells you whose marketing worked the best. Googling best large diaphragm condenser mics also brings up a lot of total junk. Most of it paid ads, and the rest ranked by best sellers again, or maybe picked by AI or something. I often Google best microphones just to see what these websites are saying, and it often baffles me. Some ideas are renting mics for a weekend before buying is a good way to test out mics first, or buying from a company that has a great return policy is another way. Just buy it, test it out. If you don't like it, send it back, try another one, and on it goes. So, I hope this long-ass video has helped you in some way to wade through some of the BS out there and just find a good mic that can be yours to treasure forever. How long was this video anyway? Oh, let me just find my trusty old measuring tape here. You know, this measuring tape was handmade in 1536 in the Scottish Highlands by a man named Connor MacLeod, just after a blast of energy called the Quickening occurred. I picked it up at a wrestling match in New York back in '86. Anyway, long. This video was long. Well, that'll just about do it for all of me here at the Time Preservation Society. The electric things have their life too, paltry as those lives are. Bye now. End transmission. Thank you for sticking around if you stuck around. That was a lot. And if you got something from it, let me know. Watch these videos. Thanks very much.